Timena opens the cottage door, ready to reclaim her map and run again. Instead, Silas is waiting inside with a devilish smirk. Clara and the horses have vanished, guards pour in, and Timena raises her blade. If she defeats the king, will he truly let her go? Is that "let us go" Sadon? Now, Clara whispered sternly. Timena sank back to the ground, breathing heavily before eventually getting back down on her elbows to crawl over to where Clara stood. At the same moment, two meager women came running through the alleyways before stopping completely. It did not take them long to realize exactly who they had run into. Before a sound could escape either of the women's mouths, they were completely silenced. They appeared almost frozen. Looking back over to Clara, Timena was frightened to see a pair of eyes that were now completely black. "You two there." One of the guards' voices grew closer as they caught sight of the two motionless women. Taking hold of Timena's arm, Clara led them back into the forest in hopes of not being noticed by the men. "We have to get to the stable." Clara's voice sounded muffled as they ran through the woods swiftly. "We should have stayed put. I shouldn't have listened to you," Timena muttered angrily. "I am sorry, I didn't know." Clara apologized through heavy breaths. It wasn't long before they reached the stable. Onyx and Tinson both stood silently staring at the girls before going back to eating their hay. Clara and Timena brought them outside by their reins. "I need to go back to the cottage. The map is there and I need it to get to another safe spot," Timena hissed. "Let us go now. We should be fine. We just need to move fast," Clara assured her, and with that the horses took off in the direction of the cottage. It appeared quiet when they arrived. Timena easily hopped off Onyx's back, pulling out a set of keys from her pocket, instinctively gripping her sword tightly. Opening the door slowly, it creaked loudly and like a nightmare that had once again become reality. The thing that she was most frightened of at this very moment in time stood before her, with a devilish smirk on his lips. "My princess, you're a difficult one to find," satisfaction radiated in his voice. Everything seemed to move in slow motion as Timena turned to escape. Running back outside, she realized that Clara and the horses were nowhere to be found. She had disappeared. Guards began to pour in one by one. She was trapped. Pulling out her blade, she held it up to whoever would come near. King Vassar stepped out of the small cottage along with Silas, Miro, and Norman. "Surrender, Timena. It's over," her father said gently. "Listen to your father, my princess," Silas added. "Go fuck yourself," Timena spat out. He chuckled. His men began to slowly approach her, and she held her sword out in defense. They immediately halted at King Silas' silent demand. "Darling, please," King Vassar pleaded with her. But she paid him no mind. She continued to hold her sword up at him. He shook his head in dismay before backing away from her. Norman couldn't even look at her. The first two men came in her direction, and as they reached a close distance, Timena jumped up, kicking one in the chest before landing on her side and using her foot to sweep the second guard's feet from off the ground, and they fell instantly. She spun around, landing on both feet before standing up, bringing her sword up once more to face her next opponent. "Amazing," Silas said in awe before laughing. "Fight me. If you can defeat me, you can leave." She glared at him for his challenging words. Silas pulled out a shiny steel sword with a gold-encrusted handle. They held their swords up, and suddenly she found herself charging at him. Before her blade could even touch his armor, it had clashed into his sword. Looking up at him, she could see him smirking. Timena pushed against his body, taking a few steps backwards. Silas laughed, seemingly amused at her first attempt, which made her angrier. Timena found herself advancing again, and he faded. Lunging forward over and over, Silas blocked her attempts each time. He wouldn't fight back. It was beginning to frustrate her. Retreating now, Timena looked for more unconventional methods. She moved forward quickly, darting her sword out continuously and opting for a kick behind the knee. Silas' right leg faltered, but he promptly composed himself. "All right, my princess, if that's how you want to fight." His expression grew sinister as he moved towards her slowly. Silas swung his blade around and down before it crashed onto Timena's, just above her head. Her foot launched itself against his chest, pushing him backwards. She slung the weapon at him, each time clanging against his own. She felt rage now as he narrowly missed swiping her, and it became a game of steel against steel until Timena grew weary of not getting anywhere in this fight. With all the strength she could muster, she threw a punch where she saw an opening, but he caught her small fist in his large palm. Silas immediately pushed her hard and she fell to the ground and tried to inch away to where her sword had landed a few feet away. He yanked her by her feet in his direction before picking her up and putting her over his shoulder. "Get the fuck off of me." She tried squirming away from him, but he had a death grip on her, no matter how much she wiggled around. As he walked her back to his soldiers, he gently placed her on the ground before capturing her upper body with his large arm. He held on closely, never enough to hurt her but enough so that she couldn't escape. Eventually she felt ropes being tied around her wrists and ankles, and tightly at that. As if she were as light as a feather, Silas lifted and placed her onto his black horse before getting on right after. His arms encircled her as he took hold of the reins. "You were never going to let me go even if I won," she said knowingly. A look of sincerity played on his facial expression. "I won't ever let you go," he declared.